The sun had barely risen over the quiet Florida coastline when the news broke. Hulk Hogan, the immortal icon of professional wrestling, the larger-than-life showman with the handlebar mustache and booming voice, had passed away. The world paused. Fans from every corner of the globe flooded social media with tributes. Celebrities, athletes, and even rival wrestlers, many of whom had once clashed with Hogan in and out of the ring, shared stories of his unmatched charisma, his impact on the sport, and the undeniable mark he left on pop culture. But amid all the public mourning and grand tributes, there was one voice that pierced through them all, not because it was the loudest, but because it was the most intimate. Brooke Hogan, his daughter, released a short video just a few hours after the announcement, dressed simply, with no makeup and eyes swollen from crying. She sat on her father's old leather couch, the one he used to nap on after workouts, and spoke from the heart. "I never thought I'd have to make this video," she began, her voice trembling, "but I want the world to know who my dad really was, not just Hulk Hogan, the legend, but Terry Bollea, the man who raised me, who protected me, who believed in me even when I didn't believe in myself." She paused, visibly holding back tears. "You were my hero, Dad, not because you were famous, but because you never stopped fighting for us." The video, raw and unfiltered, spread like wildfire. Within minutes, fans around the world were sharing it, not because it was polished or dramatic, but because it was real. In those few minutes, Brooke wasn't just a celebrity's daughter. She was every child who had loved and lost a parent. She wasn't reading from a script or trying to build a legacy. She was simply trying to hold on to what was left of hers. "I remember being 5 years old, watching you walk through the airport," she said softly, "and everyone stopped and stared like you were Superman. But to me, you were just Dad. You'd pick me up with one arm like it was nothing. I used to think you could lift the world." Her voice cracked. She glanced up toward the ceiling, as if searching for strength. "You used to make me believe I was unstoppable too, even when I had no fans. Even when I was told I'd never be a singer, you still said, 'They don't know who you are yet, Brooke. But they will.' And I believed you because you believed in me." She looked down at her hands, twisting the wedding band her father had once worn. It had become her keepsake now. "You weren't perfect. God, we had fights, bad ones. You didn't always understand me. I didn't always understand you. But no matter what, you were always there. Every show, every heartbreak, every mistake, you were still there." Brooke's voice grew quieter as she continued, the weight of grief becoming more visible with every word. "You know what I miss the most?" she asked softly. "Your voice. That loud, booming voice that used to wake the whole house. You'd stomp through the halls, yelling, 'What you're gonna do, brother?' just to make me laugh. I used to roll my eyes. But I loved it. It made everything feel okay. Like as long as you were there, nothing could go too wrong." The camera captured the trembling in her hands as she picked up a photo frame from the table next to her. In it was a picture of the two of them. Brooke was a little girl sitting on his massive shoulders, waving to a crowd. Behind them was the stage at WrestleMania. That moment, I didn't even know how big it was. I just knew I was proud to be on your shoulders. I felt safe up there. You gave me the best seat in the world, not just at the show, but in life. You always lifted me up, Dad." Tears began to slide down her cheeks now. But she didn't wipe them away. "I didn't get to say goodbye properly," she whispered. "The last time we talked, I was in a hurry. I told you I'd call back later. I didn't think that would be the last time. I didn't know your voice would become a memory." She paused again, her breath shaking. "I'd give anything to hear it one more time." As Brooke tried to compose herself, she glanced toward the ceiling once more, as if imagining her father watching her from somewhere beyond the clouds. The silence between her words felt heavier than anything she had spoken aloud. "I've read what people say online," she continued, her voice steadier now but still trembling at the edges. "Some called you a superhero. Others called you controversial. You were both, I guess. But to me, you were just Dad. You made mistakes, you fell, but you always got back up. Every single time." She smiled faintly, a brief flash of warmth passing through the grief. "I remember when everything fell apart, when the media dragged your name. When people turned their backs on you, when it felt like the whole world hated you. I saw you cry. I saw you question everything. But I also saw you stand back up and say, 'I'll earn it back. I'll show them I'm more than that,' and you did." Brooke leaned forward, closer to the camera, almost like she was speaking directly to the millions watching. "My father was human. He made mistakes. He also forgave others, sometimes even when they didn't deserve it. And he forgave himself, too, which is something I'm still learning how to do." She took a deep breath, then reached behind her and pulled out a red and yellow bandana, her father's trademark colors. This isn't just cloth. It's who he was. Loud, proud, bold, and loyal to the very end. Brooke clutched the bandana in both hands like it was a sacred relic. He wore this even when he didn't have to, when he was hurting, when he was tired, even in hospitals. It was never just about the character. It was about never giving up. He believed in the fight even when it was against himself. She laughed softly through the tears. "I remember once, after a back surgery, he He could barely walk, but I caught him practicing his walk down the hallway like it was a ramp. To the ring, I said. Dad, sit down. You just got out of surgery. And he grinned and said, brother, the show must go on. That was him. That was always him. He taught me how to be strong. But now I don't feel strong at all. I feel like I'm 5 years old again, and I need you to lift me up one more time. The camera panned slightly as Brooke stood up and walked to the corner of the room. A guitar leaned against the wall. She picked it up gently, wiping away dust and fingerprints before sitting back down with it. You used to beg me to sing more. You said my voice reminded you of Mom's, soft, calming. You loved hearing me sing, even when I didn't believe in myself. So, I'm gonna sing for you now. She closed her eyes and strummed a few quiet chords. If I had one more moment, one more day with you, I'd hold you tighter, say what I never knew. You were my strength when I had none. My hero, my heart, my only one. Her voice wavered, the pain raw and exposed. Halfway through, she broke down in tears, setting the guitar aside. I can't finish. I'm sorry, she whispered. I miss you so much, Dad. The screen briefly faded to black, then faded back in on old home footage. Brooke had edited the video to include never-before-seen clips of Hogan being, well, just a dad. One video showed him wearing an apron, while burning pancakes in the kitchen. Another had him doing a goofy dance in the living room while Brooke giggled behind the camera. Another clip captured him at the beach, holding her hand as they walked the shoreline at sunset. People saw the legend. I saw the man who stayed up all night when I had the flu. The man who watched romantic comedies with me just because I asked. A man who let me sit in his lap long after I'd grown too big for it. The montage ended with a clip of Hogan looking into the camera and saying, I love you, baby girl. Back in the present, Brooke wiped her face with a tissue and held up a small box. This was yours, she said. You kept everything in it. Told ticket stubs, letters, birthday cards I made when I was a kid. She opened the lid and pulled out a folded piece of paper. This one, I wrote when I was 8. I told you I wanted to marry you when I grew up because you were the best man I knew. She smiled as her voice cracked again. You laughed and said, don't worry, baby girl, I'll always be your first hero. And you were. You still are. She took a deep breath. I know you're gone, but I also know you're not really gone. You're in the lessons you taught me, in the music we loved, in the strength I'll have to find now that you're not here to give it. She clutched the paper to her chest. I'll carry you with me. Every day, forever. The tribute video was no longer just a goodbye. It had become a message, a bridge between fame and family, between loss and legacy. I hope people remember the showman, Brooke said softly. But more than that, I hope they remember the man who fought for what he believed in, who loved his kids with everything he had, who turned pain into power. She reached for a candle sitting beside her. As she lit it, she whispered, this light is for you, Dad. You burned bright in this world. You lit up arenas, but you also lit up our lives. And even now, in the dark, your light is still here. She sat in silence for a few seconds, eyes fixed on the flickering flame. Rest easy, Dad, your fight is over. But ours continues with everything you gave us. Brooke looked straight into the camera one final time. To everyone watching, if you ever loved Hulk Hogan, thank you. He loved you too. He never took your cheers for granted. He carried them with him even in his hardest moments. She paused, and to the little girl out there who just lost her dad, like I did, know this, you're not alone. Heroes don't die. They live on in us. With that, she stood up, placed the bandana over her. Thanks for watching. Subscribe our channel.